I'm Marcus Benjamin, bringing you a much happier Benjamin report here from Hard Rock Stadium, where the Miami Hurricanes pulled out a double overtime victory over the Clemson Tigers, 28-20. The big story in this one was the story before the game. The fact that starting quarterback Tyler Van Dyke was not starting in this game. He was a game time decision and did not dress for this one with a leg injury. Emory Williams, the backup quarterback, true freshman, started in this game. And there was much speculation as to what you were going to get from Emory Williams. And before I get into his performance, one thing's for sure is that you probably don't want to believe Mario Cristobal when he talks about injuries, because all this week we were thinking, that Tyler Van Dyke was going to play in this game, or at least give it a go. And the fact that he didn't, play at all makes you feel like, there's not a lot of merit, I guess you could say, to information that Cristobal will provide leading up to the game, which is smart because you want to be strategic in this game. You don't want to kind of give away, my starting quarterback is not going to play in this one, because that can give the opposing team some more motivation, and it can help with the opposing team's strategy as well. So I don't, discredit him for being ambiguous when it comes to injuries, but something to kind of keep in mind for the future. If he says that maybe a player is going to play, just kind of take that with a grain of salt. And Emory Williams came into this game, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, and just kind of ready to just do what he could for his team. And in the first half of this one, you really didn't get much from him. But again, this is his first collegiate start, true freshman. Not many true freshmen dazzle in their first game. And what he did was he managed the game well. And I think Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, did a great job in kind of managing him during this game. I think the crowd wasn't happy with a lot of the bubble screens that were happening, short passes, dink and dunk type of passes. But I think it was all strategic to kind of get him in a flow, get him in a rhythm. And I have to credit Shannon Dawson for doing that, because it really helped in the second half, where he flourished and he really started to make throws to convert first downs. But that doesn't happen without this offensive line. This offensive line played a tremendous game. When everybody knew that Miami was going to run the football, this offensive line still found a way to make holes against a really tough Clemson defense. This Clemson defense was number one in the conference coming into this game, and Miami still found a way to make the plays to win this game in the end. And when it came to overtime, Miami found a way to get in the end zone. A.J. Allen was able to get into the end zone for a touchdown, and then also a 2-point conversion, which ultimately were the game-winning scores in this game. So shout out to the offensive line. Matt Lee was just moving people out there. I mean, it's kind of rare that you see stellar play from a center and it kind of jumps out to you on video or on tape, but Matt Lee is definitely that guy, and he is the engine that charges this offensive line as far as the running game is concerned and in pass protection. So shout out to the big guys up front for getting the job done against a tremendous defense in Clemson. Have to shout out another freshman as well, by the way, as far as Emory Williams' numbers. He went 24 of 33 for 151 yards, had one touchdown, and one interception. I asked him about his mental fortitude, about kind of overcoming that interception in the first half, and he credited it to his sports psychologist. And I'm a big advocate for mental health. Mental health is important for everyone, and obviously Emory Williams credits his therapist for kind of helping him get through that mental, or that tough issue as far as the first half was concerned. So shout out to Emory Williams. I think overall his play was good, not great, but you see the potential with Emory, and he could develop into a really good quarterback. Now, is there a quarterback controversy? I don't think so. I don't think quite yet. I think Tyler Van Dyke, if he's healthy and ready to go, there's no question that he is the guy that will be starting for the Miami Hurricanes. But it's good to know that you've got a capable backup in Emory Williams, just in case Tyler Van Dyke does go down, as opposed to last year, where when Tyler Van Dyke went down, you felt like the game was over because quarterbacks Jake Garcia and Jakari Brown just weren't being effective in the passing game or running the offense. So really positive to see that from a true freshman out of Milton. He was an absolute joy to kind of speak to and engage with in the press conference. Make sure you check that out on this YouTube channel, live from Kane County. And like I was kind of getting ahead of myself of the other freshman that was outstanding in this game, and that was Rueben Hurricane Bain. Rueben Bain was outstanding in this game. He was an absolute monster. He had 2 sacks, 2 QB hurries. He had a forced fumble in this one, and he just was a menace. He was a menace to Clemson in this game, and he was just hard to stop. He had 8 total tackles in this one, and his motor just never stops. He keeps going. And I've made this comparison to him to Aaron Donald because of his size and his versatility. His impact on college football and the Miami Hurricanes right now is very similar to like a Micah Parsons. If you're familiar with the NFL, Micah Parsons is one of the best defenders in the entire league, and he's only in his 2nd year. And Rueben Bain is in his 6th game. So yeah, I think Rueben Bain, the sky is the limit for him. And just the defense overall, the trenches are significantly improved, despite what some Hurricane fans may think. The trenches, it has improved under Mario Cristobal. The offensive line, I've already talked about them, and this defensive line is arguably the best defensive line in the entire country. As far as getting sacks and pressures, they could maybe be under a couple of teams when it comes to that statistic, but when it comes to stopping the run, this team is second to none. But this Clemson offense, it's not really that good. This is not the Clemson of years past where they were just dominant and versatile when it comes to the offense, to the days of Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence. This quarterback, Cade Klubnik, that Clemson put their trust in and decided to move on from DJ Uiagalelei. I've been working on that name. I think they may be regretting that move at this point, because he seems like he just doesn't have it, at least not yet. He's a 5-star quarterback out of Texas, out of a high school that produces a bunch of great quarterbacks historically, but I think he just has a ways to go. He made some questionable throws. He missed some throws. And Dabo Swinney, the coach of Clemson, said at the end of the game, where Corey Flagg, by the way, makes the game-winning play, he said he pulled the ball in error. And he kind of threw his quarterback under the bus in that respect. And that, in a nutshell, that's kind of what you saw from him. He kind of just didn't make the decisions that he needed to make to win this game. I think if Emory Williams had as many games as Cade Klubnik has, which he's coming on to a full year very soon, I think Emory Williams has a potential to be better than a Cade Klubnik once he reaches that threshold. And Emory Williams was a 3-star quarterback coming out of the Panhandle. So this Clemson offense it's just not as good as years past. So wanted to make that point. The other point that I wanted to make is that glad to see Brashard Smith finally getting a little bit more shine and getting some touches. And the fact that he came out of the backfield today and broke off an 80-yard run was more than refreshing. Glad to see him do his thing. I mean, I've been watching him do his thing at Miami Palmetto for years, and he made plays all over the field. Glad to see him make the plays that he made tonight here at Hard Rock Stadium. I expect to see a lot more from him. My guy Steve-O did an entire film review on Brashard Smith talking about how he should be unleashed in this offense, and we finally saw that from Brashard Smith tonight with that 80-yard run. He lined up in the backfield a lot. He's a really versatile player that can be lined up anywhere. He can take the top off of a defense. He averaged 21.8 yards a carry. He deserves some more carries, albeit that was because of that 80-yard run that he had. But I expect to see a lot more from Brashard Smith. The other thing I need to say is that we saw 7 receivers catch the ball today. The ball was definitely spread around. Now, Xavier Restrepo still led the team in receptions with 7, but it wasn't this large share of targets at X the entire time. Emory Williams definitely kind of spread the ball around. He started a connection with Kobe Young, which worked great in this game. They connected for a touchdown on a fade route. So it was just nice to see the ball spread around a little bit instead of only targeting Xavier Restrepo as Tyler Van Dyke often did. The other thing I do want to say is that Miami, they got after it when it comes to turnovers, man. Turnovers has been an issue as far as causing them and committing them. And Miami kind of did a great job of winning the turnover battle today. They won it today 3-1. And they almost had another one when TC, Takori Couch, swatted the ball away, but it was picked up by a Clemson defender. James Williams had an outstanding play where he stripped the football and recovered it right at the goal line. Ironically, that was exactly what happened to Miami in the previous game against North Carolina. It was almost given right back after Brashard Smith ran to the goal line and fumbled it himself at the goal line, but he recovered it for the score. But Miami won the turnover battle. That was one of my keys to the game that I've been talking about all week. So proud that the team was able to win the turnover battle in this one. That will be key for future games, because in the last couple of games, the last couple of losses, they lost the turnover battle. So have to continue to produce turnovers in order to produce wins. Speaking of a team that did not win, that was North Carolina. Miami lost to North Carolina last week, and then Virginia beats them tonight. Virginia had 1 win on the year, and Miami's next opponent, guess what, is Virginia. They will be here at Hard Rock Stadium next week. I think it actually benefits Miami, the fact that Virginia won that game, because now Miami is going to be certainly ready for that team. I'm not to say that they wouldn't be, but they're going to be even more ready now because they see what they can do. They beat a team that Miami couldn't beat. And Virginia beat North Carolina on the road as well. So Miami is going to be ready to play that game, whether it be Emory Williams at quarterback or Tyler Van Dyke. Last thing before I get out of here is that emotionally, this was a great win for the Miami Hurricanes. The fact that Miami finally gets a win over Clemson since 2010. They finally get a win over Clemson since 1956 in Miami. They finally can tell themselves, okay, we've got this monkey off of our back. Cristobal gets his first conference win as a Miami Hurricane coach. So for a variety of reasons, Miami needed this game emotionally. And because they were able to pull this win out in overtime, obviously it was a close game, makes me feel like this could be a springboard to more wins for the Hurricanes, because it was a test of will, it was a test of perseverance, and they passed the test in the end against the Clemson Tigers. So Miami once again defeats Clemson 28-20 here at Hard Rock Stadium. Right back here next week when they play Virginia. That kickoff is at 3:30. That's the Benjamin Report here from Hard Rock Stadium. Until next time.